guess who's taking care of Carrollwood? It's Miss X, the sleepless teller. She has hard, cold cash and 11 other bank services for Carrollwood families and for you too. Get your own Miss X card, that is, from the Exchange Bank. It's easy.
In case you're wondering about that goal, Glover, who had apparently been fouled by Holton, was instead called for a foul himself for elbowing Holton, or so the referee indicated. So I'm a bit miffed, and I think Glover himself was just as miffed.
Absolutely. Of course, it's much easier to get miffed when you're behind 1-0, as the Rowdies are right now. Sometimes those violations can be a little less hazardous if you have a goal lead. Mark Lindsay with a bit of a sloppy dribble, but anyway, gets it into the penalty area. Smethurst trying to find Rodney. They can't connect. The pass going way behind Marsh, and of course an easy bit of defensive play for Miami. Going high to head back, Auguste. Farouk now picks up the ball, stops it dead in his tracks. Farouk and Badanzi. It goes off Badanzi's legs. It's a Tampa Bay Rowdies throw-in.
I think we might be about to see the first substitution of the game. I look down at the Miami bench, and Ralph Wright is putting his shin guards on, so I think we could expect a defensive change in the Miami Toros lineup soon.
Well, of course, we know Ralph Wright well. He's a tough-headed kind of guy who has anchored the Miami defense for 2 seasons. He has played recently. We don't know why he's not in the starting lineup tonight. Perhaps some sort of a nagging injury, but it appears that Wright might be coming in to anchor the defense to ensure that Miami holds on to this 1-0 win.
Wouldn't surprise me, in fact, if he goes in and the player that comes out might be a forward, which would mean that Miami, of course, would be playing with a sweeper plus 4 defenders and only 2 attackers up front, probably Fernley and David, and maybe taking out Nico Bodonzio. We'll see what happens.
Speaking of Fernley, he distributes now on the ring to the racing Badanzi. Badanzi picked up by Farouk Qureshi. Badanzi's cross inside to the wide-open Gord Fernley. Hamlin with a shot on the goal. Hamlin tries a volley shot high over the goal now. The Rowdies' next home game is the key match of the 76 season, and indeed if they don't come back and equalize and win this game, it'll be more of a key match, and that's when the Washington Diplomats come to Tampa Stadium, July 10th. The Rowdies and the Diplomats will be jockeying for first place in the Eastern Division on July 10th at Tampa Stadium. Tommy Smith now for the Rowdies. Smith to Pringle. Pringle being picked up by Steve David. Pringle now high in the air to Rodney Marsh. Marsh goes high with a bit of a dangerous kick, but that time the referee says play on. Alex Pringle misses the ball, but a foul called on Stephen David for the push, and the Rowdies regain control and will be awarded a free kick.
Very smart foul, really, by Steve David, just barely nudging Alex Pringle and causing Pringle to miss the ball. And of course, if the referee had not been as on top of the play as he was, David could have been away to the races.
29 minutes now left as Lenny Glover tries to find Rodney Marsh, and again he finds Big Jim Holton. Holton certainly a great addition to this Miami team. He's playing so well tonight and anchoring that defense. Pringle will now get a yellow card for a handball violation. And again, it was the nature of the violation, obviously intentional.
Totally intentional handball. Feeling, of course, that the ball would go by him and not wanting to take a chance of anything happening, he decided to put his hand to the ball. Now we've got Ralph Wright coming in, and the Miami player coming out is Alan Hamlin, who was not a scheduled starter tonight for Miami. So they are not going to go any more defensively than they have been. They're keeping their 4 fullbacks. The game, meanwhile, has resumed, and Nico Bodonzi has got the ball on the right wing.
Badonzi and Qureshi go at it. It goes across the goal line. Qureshi boots it out. It will be a corner kick for the Miami Toros. Big flavor, big selection of fine quality foods. Likes Frank's, luncheon meats, bacon, sausage, and smoked hams. Everybody likes. 27:45 here at Tamiami Stadium. High atop Tamiami Stadium, I might add. Ronnie Sharp, veteran midfielder for Miami, sets to take the corner. Here it comes. A looping ball high in the air. Auguste and Jim Holton. Lenny Glover now clears away from danger, but Aguirre controls with a fine chest trap. Aguirre distributing to Evanson. Here comes the Rowdies' attack. Lenny Glover with a steal. Can they capitalize? Glover to Smethurst. No. Yes. Smethurst with the ball, trying to slide back to pick up the pass, and he goes down. Can't keep his footing.
It's
again the pass going behind.
Really. Derek has not been at all effective. He's, I'm sure, very unhappy with his game tonight. Somehow the pass is not reaching him. He's been tripping, and some of the passes that he's been sending have been behind people. things in general not going well up there at all.
Badonzi now goes down in a heap. He was tackled hard by Tommy Smith. The ball goes across the touchline, of course. It's a Miami throw, and the yellow card awarded now to Tommy Smith. It appears that somebody might have gotten punched in the mouth. I didn't see it.
I don't know exactly what happened between Nico and Tommy Smith there, but I do know that when Nico went down to the ground, it was more acting than anything else. He might have been hit previous to that, but then he decided to go down on the ground and really make it look dramatic. The result, of course, a yellow card against Tommy Smith, the third of the game against the Rowdies. Now 4 yellow cards in this second half of the game.
Badonzi now on the wing. He's wide open. He's not being picked up at this time. He kicks it into the side of the net across the goal line, and it's a goal kick for Tampa Bay. 26-18 now.
Nothing wrong with Badonzi when they run onto that ball.
Nico is playing well tonight. Several times when we saw him against the Rowdies last season, he looked a little uncertain of his skills, but tonight playing well. Rodney Marsh now going down. Also going down, John Evanson. Evanson complaining that he was injured and foul goals against Rodney. Smith looking for Rodney. Rodney gets inside but has trouble controlling, and it goes back to midfield. Ralph Wright now, fresh into the game. That certainly will have to be a big factor. Badonzi, Auguste, Pringle collapse. It goes across the touchline. The linesman signals a Miami throw-in.
Miami not necessarily happy with his 1-0 lead, so they're still pressing. About 25 minutes remaining in the game. The Toros leading the Rowdies 1-0, and really the game getting to the stage where the Rowdies need to get that equalizing goal.
Badonzi takes a high crossing ball, an easy save for Arnold Mauser. Lindsay now with the ball. Lindsay and Stephen David marking well. Aguirre now wins it back. Aguirre to Fernley. Fernley will cross inside. He takes it, hits it into the side of the net. Gord Fernley certainly with an easy chance, and there's another bit of a defensive lapse on the Rowdies, not getting it out of their zone.
No marking on Fernley there, and previously to that, both Ringo and Lindsay being ridden off the ball rather easily. Not really at all a good game for the midfielders either. I'm sure Eddie Fermani must not be happy with most of his players tonight. Very lax, whatever the reasons. They flew down this morning. They should be rested. They haven't played a game in 10 days, but things are not clicking again tonight for the Rowdies here in Miami.
Pringle now with the ball for Tampa Bay as they get set. And we have 10, make that 9 Miami defenders back on goal. And there you see how it works. Just too many people. Ronnie Sharp now racing. Lindsay coming to challenge. On the wing to Badonzi. The crowd comes to their feet. Badonzi now crossing inside to, that looks like Stephen Mills. Now it's Gord Fernley. Fernley has to clear it out. Going down hard on the tackle. Arsene Auguste clears it across the touchline. That would be a Toros throw-in. Ronnie Sharp suggesting that there might have been a violation on the part of Arsene Auguste. Not so. It's a throw-in. 23-26 remains. Time running out. Ronnie Sharp now crossing high in the air. It's going way wide to Stephen David. David picked up by Karishi. David can't control. A shot inside by Mills. Crossed high to Fernley. It goes high up in the air. Mauser brings it down with an easy save. Scullion now with the ball. Scullion to Lenny Glover. Glover number 19 picked up by Evanson. 19 for Miami. Here's a pass going astray again. Ralph Wright picking up the errant Rowdies pass. Cleared upfield now by Aguirre. Aguirre to the racing Stephen David. David picked up by Karishi. David working well on Karishi. Tommy Smith now tries to control. David's high shot that is high across the crossbar. 22-38 now. If you have $5,000 or more to set aside, lucky you, you can earn 7.5% interest on your money with a 6-year savings certificate at any exchange bank. Offer expires July 15th, so do hurry. Lindsay now with the ball. Lindsay by Aguirre. Lindsay goes down hard away from the ball. The referee looks at him and says, I wonder how that happened. The Toros now race back upfield. Ronnie Sharp, Nico Badonzi, Alex Pringle goes down. Pringle headhunting right now. Ronnie Sharp unmarked on the wing. Lots of time to cross it inside. Here's a shot by Fernley. Wide open. Picked up at the end by Arsene Auguste, deflected by Augie, that is. And now working on the wing, Evanson. Evanson goes down hard, and the referee says, play on. Scullion now racing, and the Rowdies indeed play on. They need the equalizer. Can it come? Will it come right now? 21-40. Inside to Smethurst. Derek trying to set it up. Smethurst with a chance. It's a goal. Smethurst with a beautiful goal, a super play. And indeed,
and
it was a
Derek's
breakaway.
goal, Tom Keane, and I'm really glad for Derek, because Derek hadn't really played well up to this point. A brilliant piece of deception on the part of Smethurst after taking that pass from Stuart Scullion, was able to ride the tackle of the Miami defender, and very adeptly, just nicking the ball into the far corner of the goal, defended by Van Taylor, the Miami goalkeeper. So the Rowdies back in the ball game with 21 minutes to go, still 1-1.
They'll bring the ball back to the center circle, and we'll get back to the live action after this message. Think for who? Think for Smethurst?
Marsh.
Glover's going out. And we're back to action, and 20-24 now remaining, and we haven't put the ball back in play. There was a substitution for the Rowdies. Joey Fink now into the game at the forward line in the place of Lenny Glover. Marsh moves back to take Glover's midfield position. The Toros now with the ball. Inside to Ronnie Sharp. A fine pass from Stephen David. Cleared away by Tommy Smith. That's the kind of defense we expect from our Rowdies. Picking up the shot. And now the Tampa Bay boys come back. Fink with the ball. Joey Fink. Of course, we saw him early in the season come in and spark a Rowdies effort as they beat Boston. That time he replaced Clyde Best. Fink with the ball now. Picked up by Jim Holton. Fink crossing inside. An easy pickup by Chris Lawler. Lawler now crosses a crossfield at the left wing to Nico Bodonzi. I don't know if Miami realizes it, but the game is equalized now. It appears that they aren't in any hurry to bring it upfield, and they haven't had the success with tiebreakers and penalty kicks this season. So we would hope that they would continue their attacking style, which would give the Rowdies the breakaway opportunity.
With the insertion of Joe Fink, Eddie Fermani obviously expecting a little hustle from Fink. Fink is really a hustling type of forward who never gives in. By dropping Rodney Marsh back in the midfield, of course hoping to get a little more control in midfield that they haven't had throughout the game. Lenny Glover not having one of his better nights tonight. He of course has been brilliant all season for the Rowdies at midfield, leading the team in assists with 4. Tonight his game is passing a little off, so Fermani obviously hoping that the substitution might just be all for the better for the Rowdies. Still plenty of time, 18:52 to go, so all things could happen.
Here come the Rowdies again. Smethurst now on the wing to Rodney. Rodney is wide open. He has Fink on his left, Smethurst and the Cantillo in the middle. Joey now with the ball. Joey bringing it back inside. He's picked up by Aguirre. Marsh with the ball. Rodney inside. Rodney inside. Cantillo with the ball. There's a whistle. Pushing call.
Marsh using his fist there, really trying to muscle his way through about 2 Miami Toros in front of him, and he wasn't going to happen. We should have another call right there. Nico Bodonzi trying to control the ball. Couldn't help but to do it with his shoulder. Part of his arm, part of his shoulder. Really very instinctive reaction because he didn't want to lose control of that ball.
And in certain situations on a play like that, of course, he might be in a position where the referee will miss the call and he can play on. That's why he might have tried it. Stephen David now comes back for Miami. Bodonski with a hard pass to David. Stephen David racing. Augie Auguste and Stephen David. Augie takes him down hard. A clean tackle. Super defense.
Leaving the tackle a bit too late perhaps there, because Augie's the kind of player that takes a lot of chances. He's got such a long stride. He feels he can wait until the last moment for the sliding tackle to come in. But when it happens inside the penalty area, if he misses the ball and gets the man, of course, we got a penalty kick. So a bit dangerous with somebody as fleet of foot as Steve David, who may just go by you and shoot the ball past you. So they've got to really be careful. The most important thing really right now is to hold the Toros at bay.
Taking the cross on the corner kick was John Evanson, going high. Big Jim Holton. See, he certainly has been a factor tonight in this game, and we can't comment too much. He certainly has been praiseworthy in this evening's contest. 17:06 now left in the game. The Rowdies have equalized. We haven't gotten official time on the goal. A back pass from Smethurst to Marsh, and the Rowdies having a bit of problem with the footing tonight. Perhaps they have the wrong kind of cleats. I think Some of the lads are playing without cleats and more of a tennis shoe type affair, and that could be the problem. Rodney now on the right wing. The Toros dropping back. Here comes the ball to Smethurst. A high looping ball over the crossbar. A good pass from Marsh.
I think certainly things looking much rosier for the Rowdies now, for everybody here as well. Quite a few fans from Tampa, including our Rowdies who came down. Of course, our Rowdies, the girls that danced for the Rowdy fans, for our fannies at halftime, and we've got 6 of them here. Their leader, their choreographer, Suzanne Starr, and also Jean Kuhner and Katie Waller, Rose Barnett, Mary Johns, Candy Summergray. They all made the trip down, drove this morning, and they're going to probably spend the weekend in Miami. Hopefully the Rowdies will win and give them a pleasant weekend.
Here's a shot on goal by Fernley. He did get free in front of the penalty area for a moment, and of course the ball way high over the crossbar. 16 minutes now, 1-1 is the equalizer.
And of course we'd have had some more fans today as well. We came down on a Florida Air DC-3, and we were going to, we included in our fans today our business manager Chaz Seredneski, who's watching the game I'm sure in Tampa, but Chaz was simply afraid to get into a DC-3. It was a very pleasant flight. I think we should tell Chaz that back at home. Very pleasant. No problems whatsoever. It was as good as a 747. So Chaz, I think, will have to eat his heart out. And the guy taking the goal kick right now, he's afraid of airplanes. He got onto the plane. Maybe that was one of the problems. When he allowed that goal, he may be still a little nervous.
I see. Well, it's funny. Arnie Mauser goes high in the air many times, but he's afraid of flying. Maybe we should get him that bestseller called Fear of Flying, and that would help it all. The Rowdies coming back now. Lindsay inside to Smethurst, eluding Ralph Wright. Here comes the ball, looking for the racing Scullion, just missing the mark. Joey Fink, and you're talking about the aggressiveness of Fink. He worked well there and almost picked up a steal that could have been an easy chance for Tampa Bay.
He's really the kind of player that will probably just go at a goalkeeper when it looks really like the ball is lost. He'll keep on going and he'll jar the ball loose, and it might be just the kind of play that will lead to a goal. So we'll wait and see as Derek Smethurst gets the ball here on the left wing.
Smethurst now, and the Toros drop back. Smethurst now back to Rodney. Rodney back from the midfield post.
Interesting to note that goal by Smethurst ties him for second in the league scoring race with 22 points. One more goal would tie him for, would put him ahead of Pelé in scoring. An assist would tie him with Pelé.
A ball there from Stuart Scullion, high over Smethurst's head, over the goal line, and it's a Miami Toros goal kick. Put in play now. Upfield comes Ralph Wright. This portion of the Rowdies game is brought to you by your nearby Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers since 1934. Van Taylor now distributes the ball back upfield, goes to the other wing to Steve Mills. Marsh tries to pick up the steal, can't control Evanson and Marsh. A whistle blows. Rodney with a little bit of a shoulder charge there.
I suspect some of the Miami Toros confidence ebbing away just a little bit. I think they're beginning to push and shove a little bit more, and they're beginning to stay inside their own half a little more, and maybe they'll just try and score on a counter-attack, on a breakaway or something like that. It could conceivably be one of those overtime games, maybe even a penalty kick situation.
Scullion now. Scullion looking for Joe Fink, just off the mark. It would have beaten the offside violation by a hair, and it just missed Chris Lawler's toe. Racing now, Steve David, Argy Auguste. Certainly a fine matchup. Two great men from the Caribbean battling and showing their soccer skills. It's going to be across the touchline. It'll be a Toros throw-in. The Rowdies will again be on WTOG-TV, Channel 44, on July 14th from Yankee Stadium in New York. The Rowdies will face the Cosmos again with the world-famous Pele, who they beat in June at Tampa Stadium. See all the action right here on WTOG on July 14th.
And of course the outcome of this game being more and more important, considering the two upcoming games at Tampa Stadium with Washington and then that great return game in Yankee Stadium against the Cosmos.
Here comes the corner. Inside, up high. Mauser with a fine save. Also Farouk Qureshi clearing it across the goal line. A great header by, I believe it was Chris Lawler going up for Miami. And certainly a smashing ball, but Augie in the perfect position, the right reaction. Again, the Rowdies having trouble clearing it out of their penalty area.
You won't see any finer efforts really back-to-back. First by Mauser, a reflex save, tipping the ball to the right side, and then Qureshi inside the far post, tipping it away finally. So the Rowdies getting out of that one alive, still 1-1, 12 minutes to go. Of course, if that ball had gone in, I really would see no more life in this game for the Rowdies, because the next goal, I'm sure, will win this game.
Van Taylor now punts to the midfield. Pringle moves for the ball. Can't find the handle. Now it controls, and the Rowdies get set to come back. Pringle finds Smethurst in the middle. Smethurst moves to the midline. Crosses the ball now. Steve Mills and Scullion pick it up. Mills elects to throw it out of bounds. It's a Rowdies throw in.
Tom, a victory for the Rowdies today would really be a great effort, because a great feat, because they haven't played particularly well, but you always say about great teams that they are really great when they play not so well and still manage to win the game. So if they could come up with a victory in spite of playing sort of just a very average game, I think it would do wonders for their confidence, because they haven't played well, rather they have not played badly and won on the road. They have played well and won. They played well in LA, lost. They have not played a bad game that they have won. Today could be the first time, if they win this game, that you could say that they've done that. So hoping for the best, really, it would mean a lot.
Tommy Smith now sets a foul called on Holton against Derek Smethurst in front of the penalty area on top of the penalty arc. Smith will now set to take what I believe is going to be a direct kick. Auguste now approaches. Auguste booms. The referee, of course, is going to flag Auguste with a yellow card for taking the ball.
I don't really know what's going to happen.
It appeared like everything was ready, and then again it wasn't. The referee, of course, talking to the wrong man right now.
I think we might have a retake, in fact,
a bit of
Tom.
a confusing play right there.
I think maybe felt that the Miami wall wasn't set, but of course a bit of trickery there on the part of Marsh and Auguste. Marsh pretending that he was going to take the kick, and Auguste came up unsuspecting from behind to do it himself.
The wall now set up. Rodney Marsh takes the free kick inside, skids through the defensive wall of Miami, but Van Taylor right in the heart of the goal to scoop it up. 10:06 now, 1-1, Miami and Tampa Bay. Certainly the rivalry that developed last year in 4 league games, present tonight. We thought it might be kind of flagged because of Miami down in the standings, down in their record, but a great battle right here at Tamiami Stadium.
The Rowdies, of course, lead that series 3-1. They won here in Miami last year, 1-0 in the Orange Bowl, lost 4 days later in Tampa Stadium, losing 2-0, and then won 5-1 and 3-0. That game, the 3-0 game, being a semifinal game that, of course, gave the Rowdies their ticket to San Jose to the championship game.
9:35 now, Marsh to Cantillo. Ringo Cantillo picked up by Aguirre, into Joe Fink. Joe Fink to Derek. Joey Fink inside. Fink now taking a shot on goal. It's going to be across the goal line. Van Taylor, I believe, getting a foot on it. Consequently, a Rowdies corner kick.
Joe Fink doing absolutely everything but score. Had Smethurst open, but probably felt that he would take his chance himself and did well.
Oh, Joe Fink with another opportunity off a low bullet-like cross from Stuart Scullion that fooled almost everyone. It's another corner kick. Ralph Wright takes it out against Ringo Cantillo. Joe Fink could have gotten a leg on it. All he would have needed to do is tip it across the goal line. It was that close. Pringle now crossing high to Smethurst, but Holton there to clear it away. Rodney Marsh with a booming shot. Cleared away by Steve Mills. Some hot and heavy action now with 8:45 left. Marsh open. Marsh crossing inside to Fink. It goes high. Mark Lindsay with a shot high across the crossbar into the stands. A goal kick for the Miami Toros. This portion of the Rowdies game sponsored by Shadow Run, offering 1-acre woodland home sites and new homes in the Tampa, Brandon area. 8:24, 1-1, some action.
Everything beginning to go right again for the Rowdies. A lot of hustle. Joe Fink really spurting them on, almost scoring that time, causing a corner kick, then almost scoring again. And of course, most of the action now taking place on the Miami half of the field. I think we're going to have another substitution very soon for Miami. We see one of their players getting ready on the sidelines. Number 12.
Almost going down, obviously fouled right in front of us, of course, Ringo Cantillo, fouled by Fernley, and there you saw a man playing the man instead of playing the ball defensively. Rodney Marsh now looking for Joe Fink, just off the mark, picked up by Holton, but Joey comes back, showing his hustle. Fink all over the pitch tonight. And certainly his substitution a big effort, and if the Rowdies pick up a victory tonight, I have a funny feeling that Joey Fink is going to be responsible in some way, assisting or otherwise, in the Rowdies' win. Right now it's 1-1. Lindsay clearing back and almost picked up by Steve David. Going down in a heap, Tommy Smith. Steve David kicks him, and here comes a yellow card, I'm sure, against Stephen David.
I think I see a red card. I don't know.
Tommy Smith kicked on the ground.
It's a red card.
Steve David ejected from the game for certainly a violent action away from the play.
A red card against Steve David. retaliating against Tommy Smith after Smith had tackled David inside the penalty area. For a while I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. I was expecting anything, a red card against Smith, a penalty shot, anything, because of course when it happens in the penalty area, it's so much confusion, you just don't know what will happen. Right now an advantage of course for the Tampa Bay Rowdies as they'll play against 10 men, and the number one danger man for the Toros, Steve David, the guy that really does it all for him when he's on song, and he's been on song today. He's out of the game, and we also see Tommy Smith limping away from the ball. Arnold Mauser standing next to the ball to take that free kick. We now have the substitution for Miami, number 12.
Bauman is the substitution, and of course Bauman not seeing a lot of action. One of my favorite American players, if I can kind of extol his virtues. He's known for a very, very long throw-in, and in their last win against Portland, a 3-1 win, Bauman got the third goal.
Very important to note, of course, Tom, that Steve Bauman is not coming in for Steve David. Steve David is has gone out of the game, ejected. Bauman has replaced Nico Bodonzi, and of course the Toros playing with 10 men. Soccer rules being very strict, very specific. If you get ejected, you play short. And what's more, the Miami Toros will play minus Steve David in their next away game. He'll be suspended for one game. That red card coming exactly at 82:50.
Ronnie Sharp now moves on the wing. Auguste goes down and he pops back up. Augie moved it across the goal line. It's a Toros corner kick.
The Toros refusing to yield, getting a corner kick, still pressing. Of course, every time you get a corner kick, anything near the other team's penalty area, there is danger.
Evanson set to take it. John Evanson, one of the newer English arrivals for Miami. Evanson's ball high in the air now. Way out to Jim Holton. He goes high against Augie Auguste. Rodney Marsh controls on the run. Rodney can't find the handle, but now gives to the Scullion. Scully racing on the wing. This looks interesting. Joey Fink now. Scullion trying to control it. He tries to kick it through Steve Mills, and Mills controls. Scullion was trying to go to Joe Fink on the right wing, who was moving in that where the space was. Couldn't get it to him. It could have been interesting. The Rowdies attacking. They certainly have the opportunity to win it. 4:50 left. The Miami Toros now playing a man short with 10 men. Ronnie Sharp with a fine opportunity. Mauser with a super save.
Auguste slipping there on the nick of time when it was most important that he stayed on his feet, and he's apparently injured. He must have fallen badly. He must have really turned his ankle or something like that, because he's still sprawled on the ground. Meanwhile, on the other end of the field,
racing to the goal. Here's a shot. It's a cross. A fine save by Van Taylor. The goalkeeping superb here late in the game. Auguste still on the ground. 4:18 left. 1-1. Miami, Tampa Bay. Things getting interesting here late in the game. Auguste was taken out by Ronnie Sharp. Sharp with a fine move that put Augie on the ground, and Auguste is injured. He is definitely hurt. I don't think he can get up. It's quite possible he had the wind knocked out of him. Rodney Marsh now racing, going past to Gary. Rodney open. The ball bouncing in the air. Marsh having trouble controlling momentarily. His sock down around his ankles. A ball high to Scullion. Cleared away by Steve Mills. Bauman now with the ball. Steve Bauman, newest in the game for Miami. A fresh horse. 3:46. Auguste now to his knees. Augie trying to get up. Ralph Wright now. Ralph Wright and Ringo Cantillo, 2 5s. Cantillo moves to control. Inside is Sharp. Sharp trying to a little flick over the head of Mauser. Mauser ever present to pick it up. Rowdies come back. Auguste still trying to get up.
And the referee still hasn't stopped play. He apparently doesn't know how seriously Augie might be.
Here's a play. Joe Fink on the wing. Joe Fink racing. That's Scullion, that is. Scullion now to the goal line. It's going to be headed out. It's a goal! It's a goal! No calls. It's a goal. It's a sure goal. The referee brings it back.
And
Scullion to the goal line.
How lucky can really the Rowdies get? Most any time, the play would have been stopped ages ago for that serious injury on Auguste. The referee never really became aware of how seriously hurt Auguste must be. The play went on. Scullion getting to the byline, doing what he does best, getting to the byline, which is the same name for the goal as the goal line, crossing the ball back for Smathers, and that same combination. Scully to Smathers, responsible for 2 goals. Smathers going ahead of Pelé in the NASL scoring lead. Now finally, Auguste being attended to by Stan Taylor, the Rowdies head trainer. He's been down now for a full 3 minutes. All that time the referee kept playing on. The linesman already waved to stop play. The referee completely ignored it. And finally, and I suppose that not all misfortunes in the end turn out to be unlucky. I suppose that this will be one of the small sacrifices that I'm sure Augie will not mind paying for.
The goal coming at 86:57. Smethurst going high and very much similar to the goal he scored against the Cosmos when he beat Kuykendall to the corner of the near post and jammed it in the top.
And now coming into the game with about 2:35 is John Bloom, a fellow they call Wall Street or JJ, coming in to replace August. And I suspect that I don't know if Fermani will choose to put Bloom at center back in Augie's spot or at left back.
Well, we have a momentary timeout with 2:35 left. Now the ball in play for Miami. Ronnie Sharp, this message: what do you do when you're flat out of cash? If you're an Exchange Bank customer, you can get a refill at Temple Terrace, West Shore Plaza, Clearwater, Winter Haven, or Carrollwood. Those are the locations of Miss X, the sleepless teller. Get your own Miss X card. It's easy. Smethurst now trying to make it look easy. Smethurst to Scullion. Moving past Scullion. Cantillo. That's Bloom, that is. Johnny Bloom now at his right back post, a position he opened the season with for the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Farouk Qureshi taking Augie's spot as a center back. A new
Scullion
position
now
for him as a Rowdy.
Scullion on the wing to Joey Fink. Fink wide open. Here comes the cross. Inside to Scullion. Scullion trying to volley a ball high. It's going to be across the goal line. Scullion really had no chance. Marked well.
You know,
Goal
Tom,
kick.
they talk about, they write about Derek Smethurst. Some people have said that all that Derek Smethurst can do is score goals. And certainly tonight is a perfect example of a game in which a player does virtually nothing except get 2 goals and 4 points on the scoreboard. Smethurst didn't really have a good game until the time he scored the goal, and then a second goal came as well.
Miami now clearing upfield. Certainly the Toros disheartened. There's an example. Fernley and Pringle battling amongst themselves, and the ball hits the Fernley on the head across the touchline. A Rowdies throw in.
We're only about a minute and 12 seconds away. We'd like to tell our viewers that we are going to try and get Eddie Fermani or possibly Derek Smethurst for an interview at the end of the game, so they should stay tuned.
Okay, and exactly 1 minute left in the game now as the clock ticks down. Again, 2-1, Tampa Bay on top. And we'll have that halftime guest, or rather full-time guest, you could say. Joey Fink now battling with Ralph Wright. The Toros looking for the equalizer. Ralph raising his hand saying, "Where are you? I need someone to pass to." Johnny Bloom now in the game. A fresh horse working well. Clears upfield. Clearing to Smethurst. The ball across the touchline, however. It will be a Miami throw-in. 34 seconds. The clock ticking down now here at Tamiami Stadium. Working inside. Johnny Bloom racing hard. Bloom and Sharp. Bloom and Sharp. Sharp appealing for a foul. The referee's hand is in the air. What will his call? Looks like he might call a free kick. The Toros certainly have a golden opportunity with time running down here to equalize. This game may not be over. As we've seen, anything can happen. Everybody lines up. Here comes the cross inside. It's way, way across. Holton goes up. Inside. Crossed across the goal line. Mauser with a super save. Cantillo and Mauser absolutely incredible on the goal line. Taking the equalizer away from the Miami Toros. Super goalkeeping play. That's the end of the game. The Tampa Bay Rowdies won it 2-1. For about 50 minutes of the game, it was just another soccer game. And then, all of a sudden, incredible soccer action. We'll be back after this message.
Come on, Derek, please. Derek. Not yet.
Unlucky.
Down on the field at Tamiami Stadium with me, Derek Smethurst, and Eddie Fermani. And of course, Derek, I'm a bit disappointed in you. The last time you were on television against the New York Cosmos, you scored your 3-goal hat trick with enough time to come and do an interview and prepare, and you weren't quite as sweaty as right now. You left it a bit too early today.
They didn't give me too many chances. Only
Well,
two.
we're just making a comment really that, again, today was a perfect example of the game in which you do nothing except score goals.
That's what I'm paid for. Nothing else. I'm not a defender.
What do you have to say about that, Eddie?
Well, this is the game, isn't it? Why do you play fellas up front? You know, this is one of the main reasons why we put Derek up there, because he's a good goal scorer. I don't want to come see him come working back and get tired and not be able to score the goals. We've got to keep the right people sharp at the right time, but I'm afraid this evening there weren't too many people too sharp.
Eddie, of course, not a very good first half. If you really have to get blunt about it, you must not have been too happy with their performance.
Frank, always be blunt about things. We didn't play well, and I hope that we can get it right for the next games. But the most important thing is we won, and that's the most important thing. If we play badly and win games, you know, what's going to happen when we play well?
I mentioned that during our second half telecast, that the mark of a great team is really when you manage to win in spite of not playing that well.
Yes, well, you know, a lot of teams go away from home and they don't play well and they come away with a result because they fairly compact at the back and, you know, the boys do their job in midfield. First of all, we gave them too much room in the first half, I thought, and a lot of our passes went astray and the boys looked a little bit sluggish. So I think a couple of days off may help them and to get back into shape.
Derek, up to the time you got your first goal, you couldn't have been too happy. Some passes went astray, some were too late, a bit too far ahead, but then it all came right.
Yeah, the amount of averages, like the times a soccer player gets the ball out front, should be a lot. And I wasn't getting too many, and I was getting frustrated and concerned about whether I was playing well. And then the next minute the ball appeared and I put it in the net, and it makes you feel
of course,
like a new player out there.
Great crosses from Scullion, really the thing that Stuart Scullion does best, getting to the goal line and pulling the ball back. And that's, of course, very dangerous for any goalkeeper.
Well, this is Stuart's game, isn't it? The reason why we got him also is because he's on the right wing. When he really puts his mind to it, he's brilliant, you know, and he gets the passes into the boys and, you know, he does very well. But the thing is, we've been relying on Stuart's going to knock those crosses in. Against New York, he put about 3 crosses in, 3 goals. Tonight he put another couple of crosses in, another couple of goals, so, you know.
Tom, you must have some questions for Coach Romania.
Well, we're talking about the Miami Toros, and before this game, Eddie, we talked about some of the new players, and certainly Miami tough tonight.